Simon Studios, and it has been too long. I'm going to be reacting to Sohyang performing live her song Everyone. You guys have been asking, and so I'm doing. Make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, click that notifications button, check out our description box below, and here we go. This woman never disappoints, so I'm very excited about this. I love the spinning of her vibrato. Gorgeous. So relaxed.
내가 너의 등불이 되리 어쩌나간 쓸쓸할 때
So effortless.
내가 너의 밤 되리라 나는 너의
Okay, I gotta stop there. That was flawless. And you don't understand what just happened. She went from full chest to a gradual zip up into mix, then into head voice at the end. I'm gonna go back so that you can hear where that transition happens, because it's so smooth. You can't hear it. I can, but only because I've done it myself before, and I can feel where it's happening in her voice. Like I can feel it for her, but I'm gonna point to where she does it. It's genius. It's so good. Here we go. Chest. Mix. End. So good. It's so interesting to me. You know, I know she's Korean, but do you hear the indicative marks of gospel in her voice? You know, like the when you walk, like the slides and the crescendos and the swells, and actually going from that chest to mix into head, that's also indicative of gospel. It's so wide open and forward that it creates this climate in the voice that is just inviting the voice to zip up into different registers, even within an open vowel, which is actually very kind of intimidating and scary and naked feeling vocally to do. But once you do it a couple times, you start to trust that your voice can do it, and you relax into it, and it just becomes something that is part of your vocal toolbox as you're singing. And she just accesses that on a regular basis so beautifully in her voice, with such control and such poise, and also such confidence, knowing that from past experience, her voice is going to be able to toe the line to what she's asking it to do. It's so nice to see a vocalist with such control. Okay, here we go.
He said, I'll be the one.
It's just so pretty too. I love her dress. Yes,
when you need someone to share your love.
right? Like you can hear it, right? You can hear that gospel. He said, oh yes, that S and the A at the end of it. So good. Her voice is like a freight train. Steamrolling through. Let me break that down for a second. So she was in head voice at first, and then she accessed really sort of a precipice of whistle. I obviously she can go higher than what she was doing, but as your head voice goes up to a certain height in notes, there is this thinning out that occurs, and there is a point in that thinning out where it becomes less of head voice and becomes more of a whistle tone. And the placement, the resonance in which the voice is spinning the sound starts to shift. Just like it shifts from chest voice into a chest mix, you feel this zip up, so to speak. It's the same exact thing for head voice into whistle. It's technically a new register, although it uses elements of the previous register within the new placement. It is not head voice after all. It is something new. And she's sort of in that transitional phase right there where I would say she's probably like 50% head, 50% whistle, and if she went higher, it would grow exponentially in a ratio from whistle to head than it would from head to whistle. And any extreme note, high or low, needs more space and support, guys. And as you can see when she's accessing these extreme notes, how big and wide her face is. It's as if she's, you know, the dentist when they do that crazy like to your mouth. It's like she's got one of those in her mouth that's invisible and involuntary. And we want those when we sing big high notes. Yeah. Gospel, very gospel run. So when we in gospel music, when we repeat riffs, it's really sort of like a list in acting. We're going to take it to acting, guys. So when you say something in acting 3 times, it's supposed to emphasize the meaning each time, and each time is more meaningful than the last. It's the same exact thing when you're singing. It's like list riffing, okay, or in this case it's a run, list running, where you do a run and then you do it again and again, and for some reason in our minds as an audience it means more, and it means more, and it's more impressive, and it hits home harder each time you repeat it, because it's almost like, oh, you've learned it the first time, you're really feeling it and absorbing it the second time, and the third time or more, it's like getting into you, as if almost like you're in the audience singing it yourself. And that's very stereotypical in the best way of gospel, and she just did it right there. Let's back it up so you can hear that run that she repeated twice. And this chick's face is everything right now. Stop for a second. Okay, what she did there was such a perfect, if you guys want to know what it's like to zip up from chest to mix, there you go, right there. I don't even need to imitate it. She did such a perfect job. That was amazing. full chest at the bottom, warming your way up melodically through the vocal mapping and into a wide and forward and perfectly placed chest mix that went then, because it's too high to stay in chest mix, that then went into a full mix with a little bit of head voice pulled down. Let's listen to that one more time before she gets all soft and intimate on us. Here we go. And by the way, look at her mouth and her tongue when she does this. Her tongue is almost breaching the precipice of her bottom teeth, which I tell my students all the time. Look, when you have dropped all the way and when you have widened all the way, you can bring your tongue just a little, like a little inch forward, just to give yourself a little bit more internal space in the back of the throat, because the tongue goes all the way down. So this, but then this. So good. Sorry, I just showed you my uvula. But yes to Sohyang, yes to knowing that I need more space and I'm going to get it by any means necessary, because the note and the health of the note is the first priority, not necessarily how I look. Okay, here we go. Watch for it. And you see how her tongue arches in the back, right? It's not flattened out anymore. We're trying to raise the spin of the sound upward, and so then we create this nice little slope for the sound to get stuck on, to go up into our nose instead of out of our mouth. If we wanted it to be heavy, full chest, we would drop the tongue so that the space in which the air is coming out of would want to go out the mouth. But she creates this slope, and if this is the her teeth, this is the back of her tongue going to her throat. She creates this slope here, so the sound continues up into the nose, which is much more of a specialized spot for mixing than it would be if her tongue was flat and the sound just came out her mouth like that. Very smart, very smart. Okay, I'm done geeking out now, vocal pedagogically speaking. Let's move on. Air, beautiful. Tone. Mix. Mixed ahead. Mix, beautiful mix. Gorgeous mix. Yes. Woo! So beautiful. Oh.
내가 만약 외로울 때면 누가 날 위로해주지? 바로 여러분.
I wish I could speak. Oh my God. Okay, talk about some serious vocal control registerically. She's a great example of that. You know, she really is a natural mixer. I would say she is probably more of a natural mixer than she is a belter. But here's the catch with her. She's so good at creating, I would say, really almost gritty intense tonal mix, which is very rare, that it's really hard to tell and discern whether it's chest or whether it's mix. She gets away with that so well. And the only time for me in this entire performance that it was really blatantly obvious that she was chest mixing was when there was zero music behind her and I could only hear her like right when it was before the modulation. I mean, this is someone who really uses their natural giftings and has grown them into a superpower, a super strength. And I want to speak to you guys who may not be natural belters. Like, I'm a belter before I'm a mixer. And so mixing to me is a harder thing. Like, I would have, as I was growing up learning to sing, much rather have stretched my chest up and pushed chest higher than I would have honed my mixing skill, because it just wasn't what I was naturally good at, and I just was sort of like, mix, right? But for those of you who are, yay, mix and meh, chest, I encourage you, master what you've got going on first, and then don't forsake the other registers. You know, don't make mix a crutch where you're just doing that, but take it from Sohyang. Embrace what you've got, right? Use that to the best of your ability, but then also hone that, because she does use chest in very powerful ways, but they're smart ways. It's not overpowered, it's not pushed, and she does use her head and her whistle in appropriate ways too. She's someone who really knows her voice and registerically is able to leverage her talent within each song to the best of the ability of the singer. And I think she's just a perfect example of someone who knows how to use their voice and use amazing proper technique. So take it from Sohyang, guys. Listen to the technique, listen to the breakdowns again. I know I had a lot to say in this, but that she's a very vocally sound technician when it comes to singing, and I think there's a lot to learn from her. Thank you, Sohyang, for spreading your anointed voice with us and with the world, and for sharing what God's given you. We love you, and we are so proud to be a fan of yours and to be blessed by listening to your amazing voice. And I hope that I have created some new fans for you today, for someone who may not have known who you were before, because if you don't know, now you know. Thanks so much for asking me to watch this one, guys. I so appreciate it. Make sure you spread faith, not fear, love, not germs, be a blessing to a stranger's life. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the description box below. There's amazing links there to help you on your vocal journey that I've made just for you. So with that, guys, I will see you on the next one. Bye.